Alright, I'm doing a back-to-back video.
No, I need a 30. That's a 32.
Man, this thing's light. Alright, 2024 Beta 300 RR Race Edition. We're gonna go Azzy test loop here. right into the next one.
I mean, it might help too, like you come to a slippery rock or something.
Alright. KX.
450X.
going to be is basically it's going to be like the hero section backwards. So we'll do that, and we'll see how that goes. I will do 2 laps of this. Alright, I haven't ridden this all day. That loop. That's 2 laps. I'll jump the side. Alright, now 2 laps. Hopefully that's recording. I think it would be. So this is going to be part number 3. So this is the first section backwards. me to go the other way? How's that for you?
I've been watching you go around.
Yeah. Alright, we still recording. Yeah, okay. Alright, we'll switch back. Quicker because I didn't have to talk to those guys, but I'll tell you, man, the Cowie stiffer, yeah, I'll tell you, is the Cowie stiffer? Yes, but we'll talk about it in the shop. Alright, so this is the end of the video. Comparison of these two bikes. In all reality, I filmed the video, and I did those 3 sections that I thought were what was the best, like best feeling, and I'm not sure the speed. I'm not gonna do a time, I don't think. Maybe I'll go back into editing. I'm filming this and then I'm gonna go edit it, so maybe I'll decide to do that, maybe I won't. But what I will tell you is the feeling about both of these two bikes. First off, they're both great bikes. If you're looking to buy a 300, a 450, great bikes, relatively close in speed if I'm being honest. With that being said, I want to make a couple things clear. I wanted to do the same tires for both. I'm gonna race the beta for the rest of the year. So, with that being said, the next races coming up are very sandy. So I'm gonna be running an MX-14 rear tire. So I put an MX-14 on the Kawasaki as well, and they both have AT82 front tires. So that's the tire I like to run in the front. Like I said, that's that. There's very similar mods to each: foot pegs, shifter, Renthal handlebars on each, same hand guards. I know that stuff's kind of either cosmetic or just a slight feeling thing. But we'll go over some of the positives and some of the negatives of each bike. So let's start with the beta, because I've been riding the beta for the last year and a half, 2 years or so. I'm very happy with it. I am very happy with it. I think it suits me well, suits my riding, because I'm a very technical rider. Something that I think allowed me to open that up is the beta, is my technical riding skill, using my balance and as well as the power and the clutch. With that being said, some of the drawbacks of the beta is just coming out of corners and just speed. So coming out of a corner long straightaway, the speed just isn't there because you have to shift a lot more than, say, this 450. I come around a corner in second, shift up to third, and second and third will even rev for a long time. In the beta, you might not be able to do that. You might come around the corner in second, shift up to third, and then have to shift up to fourth, again, just because the gearing is low. Another drawback to the beta is, you know what? I actually don't know if there's any real drawbacks to either of these bikes. I'm saying this, but it's not even a drawback. It's just the feeling that I get. Another drawback to the beta is just the feeling of the rear end. Now, I like the feeling of the rear end. It's very planted, and especially in the woods. Sorry, someone's walking through the door. The drawback for me is that it just kind of sits rear end low. And maybe I'll be able to do some things to help that. So next time I go riding, I'm going to test a little bit to see if I can kind of get some of that rear end up a little bit. And the reason why I noticed that is not because, I'm just riding the bike feeling that it's low. It's switching over to this that make me feel like, there's room for improvement. So that's something I'm going to try with the beta just for the last couple rounds. I have 3 races left on this bike. Another thing that I do feel like is, someone's locking their car apparently. Another thing that I do feel is another drawback. It's not even a drawback. At the time I thought it was something that I really liked. Is this cockpit and handlebar setup. The levers are where I want, the bars are rotated where I want. It's just these are 997 bars, and I think I like this. I think this is an 827. I will double check that, and if it's not, I'll put that in the video, like in writing. I know this is a 997. I like this bar. It's essentially what the stock bar feels like on the beta, but I like this bar a lot better. It's not like more rigid or anything. I don't feel anything like that. It's just the sweep that I feel like is the thing I necessarily don't like, or I like this better, I should say. Everything else, that people complain about the seat. I really don't have a problem with the seat. They say it's a little stiff. I really don't feel that. All right. They're gone. They're gone now. So they say the seat's a little stiff. I really don't feel that. I do notice that the Kawasaki seat is soft. I do feel that. I don't think that's necessarily a comfort thing. Besides that, I feel like both bikes are really good. I run same grips, same tires. I try to make them similar as possible with being 2 completely different sides of an off-road motorcycle. Coming over the Kawasaki here, obviously it's a year newer, but they didn't change much in the last couple of years of the Kawi, so 24, 25, and 26 are all going to be very similar. Same thing with the beta, by the way, is they haven't changed much with this model since this, so this is a 24, 25, and 26 are all very similar to this model. Some of the drawbacks to this bike, and then we'll do the positives of either. Some of the drawbacks to this bike are sometimes I have a hard time with the luggability of the bike. I have to shift down to first a lot, and that's okay, but it's just something I'm not used to, so I'm going to have to get used to that to keep riding it at a high level. I can do a lot of the same things on either bike. Rock sections or tight stuff or even really technical like almost trials like skills. I'm not that good at that stuff, but I'm working on it. So I can do that on either bike. Just take some practice and getting used to this. Another thing that it's not strong suit is because I didn't want any dive in the front fork of this, I had them kind of stiffen up that top valve and piston on the front fork. So I get a lot of I don't have a lot of comfort in that front end. So if I soften it up, I'm afraid of bottoming, because I have, and I'm pretty low in the stroke. I'm probably about 20 mil from the bottom, which is fine, like 10 to 20 mil. So I'm okay with that. I do as you've seen in the videos, there are some in the woods jumps that I do hit. So I'm not afraid of bottoming. It's going to happen. You'll bottom every once in a while. It's okay. Another thing is just, with that comfort, but I like the front fork setting. So maybe to get some more comfort, I've seen people do triple clamps. I've seen people do engine mounts. I think I'm going to try FCP engine mounts, and we're going to start there for that comfort. Those are $449, so it is quite pricey, but if I'm doing this to be at the highest level I can be, I think it's worth it. Anything else with the bike? I don't know. I feel like the only drawbacks are that luggability, as well as that just little comfort. And I'll tell you where I feel it. It's just through some of the rocks, and honestly, it could be just the Showa fork in general, because it does have a more performance feel, and I do feel like I can hit things faster than this KYB setting. From what I've heard is that KYB is just not as performance oriented. When I say performance, it's just the KYB moves through the stroke a lot more, and the Showa is more you have to hit things faster for it to move as much as, say, you would want to. Some of the positives of the Beta are just I can do everything on it well. I've been riding it a while. I know the bike. It's super planted, and when I stand, I feel like there's sections where it's I go up this hill, and it has a little crest at the top, and you go over this crest, and I stand into this corner, and maybe because of that shock being low, I can really stand and pivot into that corner. That's one positive to this. It's just the ability to stand, because how planted the rear end is. This isn't quite as planted, but that might be because it's higher up in the stroke, and it rides higher. And by the way, the sags are both in the right spot, so it's not a sag thing. It's just the feeling of the shock is different. Like I said, the comfort in the front fork is a little bit better, although from riding this, I probably could stiffen it up a little bit, but we'll do, like I said, I'm going to do some testing to make this even better. I like the tires, that's why I have them on there. These bars are good, but like I said, I like the cockpit a little bit better on this. I feel more cramped on this, so that's another positive for the Kawasaki. I'm not going to go through all the positives. The power is good. It rides good. I like the gearing, honestly. I like being able to use second, third a little bit more. But first and second, and third on the Cowie are good. But the Beta, I do feel like I have to shift more, but I like being able to lug it if I need to. Cowie's not quite that way. The positives of the Cowie are the weight, and when I say the weight of it, they're only like less than 10 pounds different from either of them, but because of the mass that is between your legs, and you just feel more planted, not only to the ground, but like in the air. So hitting jumps, you just feel there's some level of stability, and I like that. I like the power of the 450. There's some sections where I would do a little loop, and I'd get on the gas down the straightaway, third gear, and I'm revving it. I don't know. I'm not wide open. There's not a world that I live in right now where I'm going to be wide open on a 450. It's just not. It's just not where I'm at. But I feel like, holy crap, I'm going so fast, and I'm on the gas and I'm just hanging off the back. The front tires lifting up, and that's fun. And I will say there is no. I know people are like two-stroke sound. To me, there's no more awesome feeling than revving out a 450, and that feels so cool. Like I said, there's not many true drawbacks to each, and they both have their own positives. And here's the caveat. Which one would I pick? I've been on the beta for a while, and I only have less than 10 hours on the Cowie. So this has like 50 hours on it. This has 10. Maybe more than 50 on this. I think, and I hate to say this, I think I'd pick the Cowie. If I had to choose, someone had a gun to my head, I think I would choose the Cowie, because I just feel like I can make it better, and that's why I'm not going to race it the rest of the year, is because I need to do some things, gas tank, and we've talked about that in other videos. But I would just choose the Cowie. Both these are my bikes, and I brought them both to the track on the same day. The track was a little dusty. The woods were great though. Same everything. Same. And once I filmed everything for the video, I just went, I'm gonna ride the Cowie for the rest of the day. So if that's any consolation, if that means anything to you, I think it means something to me because I had more fun on this. Then that's that. So with that being said, if you have any questions, email me. I've gotten a couple emails in the past, but email me if you have any questions. That will be down below or on my website. You can go either or. I haven't been updating my website as much as I would like to, but when school's about to start here in a couple weeks, so I'm going to start updating that a little bit more because I have more time on my laptop. And thank you guys for watching. It means a lot to me. And thank you for my sponsors. I'm so grateful for all my sponsors, especially the new sponsors that have come in. It means a lot to me. And I'm excited to keep racing and keep doing well. We have 2 more D16 races left, and I'm pretty sure I've locked in 3rd place in points, so super excited about that. But then we have the Ironman GNCC, and I'm excited to go try that for the first time. I think that'll be my first 2-hour debut. So I'm super excited about that. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.